Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning to our friends on the West Coast. Thanks for joining us today for our webinar on our Beam application. We're excited to be showing you this today. This is going to be the first on what we're deeming IVS Unleashed, which is going to be our customer's first initiative, bringing you lots of different ways to not only get better at what you're currently utilizing with Vault, but to engage with the larger community within this space. So you'll be seeing things outside of webinars, also podcasts, promotions, which we have one running right now on Beam, and an interactive customer community, which hopefully you'll be hearing a little bit more about still in 2024, if not in early 2025. But before I get too ahead of myself, let's talk a little bit about what we'll be doing today. So today we're going to be showing Beam, our mobile companion app, to our Vault application. And first I'll introduce you to the team. Which is myself and my colleague who's on here to answer questions. Then I'll show you where you can find more Vault content if you want to see where we keep videos on things like user permissions or new features within the software, and also where I'm going to be storing this webinar once we're done with it. Then we'll go through our live demonstration of the Beam application, and I'll show you how it interacts with your current Vault application. And then lastly, we'll close out and talk about what you can do if you want to hear a little bit more about this app or anything else that IVS has to offer. So let's go ahead and start. On the call, my name is Andy Simmons. I'm our Vault Education Specialist. I have a background in education and teaching, but I also, my second career here has been helping customers get the most out of things that they've already purchased. And then I'm joined by my colleague, Jeanette Lee. She's our sales enablement manager and a wonderful human being. And you might recognize her if you demoed any of our other products in the past. She kind of wears a lot of hats here at the company. And today she'll be answering questions within the question section of the webinar. Okay. So if you need to find more Vault content or you want to find this webinar and share it with other people, I'm going to be putting it in the IVS Wiki, which you'll find if you log into Vault and then you click on your profile and go to Help. And then you click on the IVS Wiki/FAQ tab, button, and then you'll find a new video content section. So let's go ahead and show this right now. So you'll see here I actually have version 6.3 of Vault open, so if it looks a little different than what you're currently running, it's because I'm on our most updated version. If you'd like to update to get all the most recent features, just give us a call and we'll set up a time to do that. But I'll go ahead and log in. And I'm going to click on Profile, the Help button, and go on up to IVS Wiki/FAQ. Once in here, you can find things like information on the software, installation and troubleshooting guides, and so forth. But all the way on the right, past my face here, is new video content. So the webinar, I'll put this right here underneath webinars. But this is also, again, like I mentioned, where you can find information on, say, all the permissions within Vault. If you inherited this application from somebody else, or it's been a number of years and you're wondering, what does this checkbox do? How can I give somebody this permission? What else will it affect? Come on in here, click on one of these, and find the 1 or 2 minute clip that just describes what that actually does, how it relates to the end user and the administrator and anything else you might need. So those are all available to you, as well as videos on all the new features in version 6.3. So if you looked at the version I had, if it did look different than yours and you're wondering what are the implications on updating, you can come into here and see all the new features that we have to offer within this new version. Okay, so that's in our IVS Wiki. And with that, we're going to jump into our demo of Beam, our mobile app that ties with our Vault application. But before we do that, let's just discuss a few use cases that you might have for adding on a mobile app with Vault. Might be things like maybe you do in-home therapy. So my wife actually did in-home therapy for a long time as an OT. She'd go on site and do her therapy sessions and then write up her notes and everything and come back to the office. And she actually told me that this would have been beneficial while she was doing that. She's out of that field right now, but to actually be able to share with parents like, hey, this is what we saw, or to share with her supervisor when she needs an evaluation done. When the supervisor comes into the home with her, it changes the dynamic of the therapy session. So to be able to just record it and have it in Vault for somebody to review and evaluate would be really beneficial. Maybe in police work, if you're doing off-site interviews, not in your interview room in your department, well, we should probably have that recorded. But more realistically, it might be that you just need more views than your current fixed and PTZ cameras are giving you. You want someone maybe like up close within a sim lab or whatever you might be actually utilizing VALT for. Or, to be honest, like maybe with it being towards the end of the year, you don't have money left in your 2024 budget for new cameras and new installation, but you have these current devices that you want to use. So all you'd really need to do is just work with our team to set it up, and then you're off and running. Regardless of the reason, there's probably a good use case to adding a mobile, that's why we call it a companion, to your VALT system. So we'll start by showing how you'd actually add a beam device to VALT. And this might not pertain to everybody on the call if you're not the administrator who set up the cameras in the rooms, but just want to show you how easy it is to do so. So an administrator can go into Settings, Rooms and Cameras, and you'll see all your existing rooms and cameras. So all of these are the actual rooms within the IVS office. So I can see all the different fixed and PTZ cameras and so forth that we currently have set up. But if we need to add a beam device, we'll just hit the plus button over here, add a beam device, and then fill in 4 fields about it. So what's the name of this? Let's call this one Department Tablet. I think I already have one, so Department Tablet 2. Side note, we do suggest that this is a department managed device, not a personal device, because often these are used in things like clinical rotations. Like you're going to have patient or student information temporarily on this device until it gets synced back up to your server. So you want this on something that you control. Again, that's a suggestion, but we highly suggest it. We do offer this in both iOS and Android. iOS is a little more consistent. There's a lot of flavors of Android out there. But either one will work. You can find it in the App Store or in Google Play. Today I'll be showing it on an iPhone. If you're a cloud customer, your media server's in the cloud, or it could be a local server. And then, do you want this associated to a room? So when you open up a room, do you want the beam device associated to it, or do you want this to kind of be roomless? I'm going to leave this one roomless for now, but again, think of your current rooms that you have in VALT. You could have a beam device if that's always going to be there associated to that room. So if I save this and then click on my beam devices, I can find Department Tablet 2. So we created it, but now we're going to have to sync this to an actual device. If I click to edit the beam device, you'll find that the system assigned it a unique ID, so 111 in this case. So when we download the app, it's going to ask us what's your unique ID. And when we put in 111, your system will now know, okay, that device you set up in VALT, that's this device that we just put 111 into. So that's the setup of the device. Now we'll go ahead and open up a mobile device and see what we actually do within it. So give me one moment and bear with me while I share my phone to the screen. Okay, so I have the IVS Beam app already downloaded, and when I click on it, for me it's going to log me right in because I've used this before, but the first time that you ever use it, you're going to get this screen right here. So this is where we'd actually put in the server address, which is in my case the demo site that I'm using, but you'll have your own. And that unique ID, so 111 for that department tablet that we just created. My phone was 101. And then somebody with administrative credentials can sync all that user data to this app. So I'm going to put in my username and password, which will sync all the user data from my VALT application to this mobile app. And then users only have to put in their username. And if you'd like them to authenticate with a password, then since you're off network, single sign-on is not going to work. We're not going to be able to pull those credentials. So we give you, within the user setup, the option to create a PIN. So think of this as like a mobile password. So in my case, my mobile password is 1234. But you don't even need to have it. You could just have them put in their username, log them right in. And at this point now, our app is connected. And you can see here our therapy room, not my kid's playroom, just a therapy room. We can now begin our session. So I'm going to put it just against this white mug here, and we'll kind of go around the horn and talk about the different things that you see within the app. In the upper left, you see that I'm online. That means I can stream, meaning I'm on the network that VALT is running on. If you're off-site, if you're doing a home visit and you run it on your, your work network, if it's an on-prem solution, then you're not gonna be able to stream. You'll record, and then when you get back on the network, it'll beam it to your VALT instance. But online means like I can stream this and somebody can watch it. So if you're using Beam on your network, just walking around with the device, you could live stream this and have an administrator watching it. Otherwise, it'll say offline. This is our logout button in the upper right here. Here's where we can actually prepare ahead of time an information template for our recording. So I click on that button. That's our prepare settings, our information template. So whatever user logs in and whatever information templates they have access to, that's what we're going to see here. So I can, if I'm doing a home visit, I know I'm going to be doing that session. I know I'm going to be recording. I might as well fill in all the information ahead of time that my organization asks me to fill out. And then I can just begin the recording when the time comes. That's actually the same as you have in VALT. You already have that prepare option within your VALT instance. This is the ability to flip our camera. So it'll flip it to the selfie mode. Here's our button to start recording, and think of this as like offline recording or recording without streaming live in VALT. So I can record, it's temporarily saved on this device. It's not something that you can observe within VALT in real time. And then this button's going to start our flashlight, so I can get a little more light for our recording. Button in the lower right, this is our streaming button. So if I do want to stream live, I can hit this and it'll give me two options. Do I want to just stream? So think about like if you clicked on a room and you click to observe within VALT, you can watch that in real time without recording. That's what the stream button is. And then stream and record. Do I want the ability for somebody to watch it live and at the same time record it? Again, all three of those options are already in VALT. This is just how you would use it within Beam. So I have the option to just record, just stream, or do both. When I do record, if I'm not on my network, it's going to sit in our folder right here, and you'll see it right here. Actually, after we record in a moment, you'll see a file sitting there until I sync it back with my server. I can have it auto sync right when I'm back in my network, or I can do them one after the other. I'm going to leave the auto sync off so you can actually actively see it. Okay, so let's go through a couple of these. We'll start by just streaming. So assume that I just want somebody to be able to see what I'm doing. I can hit the stream button. And you can see now this red button in the lower right is kind of pulsing. And there's no timer going. I'm not actively recording. I'm just streaming. So if I go into VALT now, and I click on Observe, it's not associated to a room, so I won't find it here, but I will find it in Streams. And here's Andy's phone. And if I click on this, we'll open up the live stream of this room. We'll open up the live stream of this room. Get a little feedback because I'm doing this in the same room. I just stopped the stream, and you can see that it actively stops it within VALT as well, and my phone disappears. So once I stop the stream on my phone, nobody can access it anymore. It's not like somebody can just see through the camera on my phone without me live streaming. And if I go to the review, there's not going to be anything here. I wasn't recording. We were just streaming. So I don't see anything here because I didn't actually record. We'll go back to my phone, and instead of streaming, now let's actually record in the kind of the offline mode. So I'll hit my red button. We'll call this the webinar. Objective, this is just a test. And fill out anything else that your organization needs you to fill out. And I'm going to hit the begin button. You can see we have some other options. I can turn my light on. I can pause this if something takes place. The timer will stop. I can start it back up. I hit the red button again. And what you don't see, though, is that pulsing streaming button. If I go back into VALT while this is recording, and I click on streams, there's nothing there. So again, assume that this is like offline, off your network. I'm now in a home doing a recording. Going back to my phone. Let's go ahead and stop this. It said it was finalizing the file. It puts it in the files right here, creates a temporary folder for this until it can beam back to Vault when I end, when I'm on my network and I sync it. But what I can do now, while it's still here, is I can take a look at it. You can see we have some other options. So if I need to add something, if I miss something, I need to start another recording, I can do that now. Otherwise, once I'm back on my network, if I set to auto sync, it'll automatically go into Vault. Or I can hit this blue button right here. And it'll take a moment, but now what it's doing is it's syncing. So in a moment, it'll give me a notification that now I know that it's complete. It's going to leave my screen here. And when I go back to Vault, and I click on review, we already have webinar here. So this gives us the option now to do whatever we need to do with this. The same things we would normally do within Vault. So if I need to leave comments, share it with someone, delete it. See, we have some other options, I cut it, whatever I need to do, I now have that option. So at this point, there's nothing different using the mobile companion as using just Vault. So it gave me the option to use this offline, meaning like off my network, on my network, to be able to stream it and record it. But then it's instantly here for us to use. Okay. You can always reach out to us through our website, send us an email, or give us a call if you'd like a little more personalized demo. All right, thank you everybody for joining us today. Look in your email for more content coming at you for IVS Unleashed. Thanks and have a great day.